Hello guys, Richard from SharpshootingUK here. It is a very pleasant late autumn day in that it's stopped raining and the sun's come out. Long may it last, just in time for this video that I've been working on since the summer. So I've got a couple of things to talk about Delta wise. Now I have become a bit of a fan of Delta because they keep making unbelievable glass quality for the money with features that are not making any mistakes. Turrets that don't count the right way for left and such like. They're doing really good things at sort of all budgets. Now, a few years ago I did a video on rangefinders, and back then there was no option for binocular rangefinders under £2,000 plus. You had Zeiss, Leica, Swaro, and you still do, and then there were half decent rangefinders that were monoculars. I preferred the Zeiss at the time. But if you wanted to combine your binoculars and your rangefinder into one, you had to spend big bucks. Now it is entirely different. There are now several £1,000-ish binocular rangefinders, and furthermore, some of them have Bluetooth and some of them have various other useful features. So I'm going to introduce the Delta one, which I've been testing all summer long on my ballistics long range training days that I do at SharpshootingUK, alongside my SIG kilos. These I use because they've got a 2-mile pinger and they talk to the Garmin 701 watch and the Kestrel Elite, populating range and inclination instantly. Then there's my old favourites, the Swaro EL range, which are beautiful binoculars with a pinger that will just about get you to a mile. And I'm sure that that's more than enough for most folks, and the Swaros are a lovely piece of kit. But the problem I had with them was if I wanted to laze 2100 yards, no can do. Now, if it were a huge target, but I don't shoot at huge targets, and you know, they're in rock faces, in shadow, and bottom line, the Swaros won't reliably do a mile, and certainly not a yard more. So if I wanted further, if you need further, then you needed to go to one of the new pingers that do that. And the SIG Kilo 3000 BDX for £1,400 or £1,450 entirely fitted the bill, in that they'll ping, 3,500 yards, handheld, Bosch, done, and send it to your Bluetooth device. So that is what I've been using for a while. And when I wanted really good resolution, having sold my Swaros for, say, ranges below where I would use my Swarovski spotting scope, but ranges that were difficult to tell a rabbit from a molehill or a bit of gorse or whatever, I would use these ED Chase. These are Delta as well. They're only about £350 and they are so sharp. 10 by 50 I think this one is, and I would use them for the sort of detailed spotting where transmission was really key and in difficult light, because these SIGs are nice and sharp for the money. They're good for resolution in good light, but towards the end of the day they are very average, and I would switch to the Deltas for that purpose. If I still had my Swaros, I would be using them, of course. So let's rewind a bit. If you want a binocular rangefinder below £2,000, you're looking for a non-alpha to do it. And up until now, you had the SIGs, you had the Vortex Fury, which aren't bad, good strong pinger, good price. But if you wanted unbelievable glass and you really missed your alpha Swaro or Zeiss or Leica, or simply couldn't afford it, nothing really jumped out at me as kick-ass glass, but with a really strong pinger in it at you know, less than 2,000 euros, pounds, dollars, whatever. And then the Deltas came along. Now, these are about the same price as the Vortex Fury. They don't have any Bluetooth, so they won't talk to anything, do anything smart. But, and nor will, of course, the Swaros and the Leicas, etc., etc. But, well, certainly not to the modern applied ballistics kit that is what you want. In-house ballistic apps made by these companies aren't detailed enough for long-range precision of my standards. There are these basic hunting apps that will drop you in at 500 yards and good luck to them, but you know, they're not doing the advanced ballistics that the applied ballistics kit is. So my thoughts on Bluetooth essentially, guys, are if it doesn't talk to applied ballistics, I'm not interested. Anyway, along come at £1,200 the Deltas. Now they're 9x45, and I'm thinking, I bet these are sharp. So much so that the people at Delta specifically insisted that I tested them against Swaros, Leicas, etc. That's how confident they were, and that filled me with hope. And well, there's two parts to this. First part is glass quality, and second part is the pinging range. Now, as people shoot further and further, I feel that a mile rangefinder, or just under a mile rangefinder, which is what the Swarovski kind of realistically is, it's not enough for more and more people. Now, if you had a rangefinder that was 5,000 yards, like the Fury, well, that's great, but people don't need that much. So what you really want is a rangefinder that will really, really do 2,000 meters. If you could get to that, 9 out of 10 marksmen are covered around the world. And only the real nutters who go really long need a 3,000 yard pinger. And this is where the Swaros always frustrated me, because when I wanted to go to a mile, they just showed me up, you know? Whereas the Delta's pinger is faster and more powerful. There's no two ways about it. I've been using them side by side for 6 months. And the fact of the matter is that the Delta will ping reliably, say, 2,100 yards. I'm sure it'll do a bit further. I'm sure the Swaro on a good day might ping 2,000, yada, yada, yada. But like for like, take it from me, the Delta is 300 or 400 yards stronger. And that takes it over a hurdle for me. So I was very impressed by that. Now, you also need the display quality to not be so bright that the range output screen inside the binoculars kills your low light performance. And it's something that a lot of manufacturers get wrong, whereas this Delta's got this lovely OLED display in there, all adjustable, various features as you'd normally expect. But what I like about it most is how subtle it is and how little it intrudes on both the light transmission and the low light performance. And that's another mistake they haven't made. Furthermore, the reticle is like the Swaro, Zeiss, etc., SIG, round circle. But in the middle, it has a little dot, a little crosshair in the middle, as it were. And that really helps you be a bit more precise. And I like that very, very much. So what we're left with, pinger-wise, is 2,000 yards as opposed to, say, 1,600 for the Swarovskis. A very, very fast, very accurate, very pleasing, very reliable, very precise pinger with a good screen. We're already looking pretty good. If the glass were decent, it would be a good buy. But the glass is absolutely top quality. That's the news here. If you want the Leica, the Swaro, but you can't afford it, the Delta has got you covered. It is so close. Without, I think, laboratory testing, you'd struggle to pull them apart. Admittedly, the Swaro has an iota more field of view, but with regard to performance in terms of the things that you notice, edge-to-edge sharpness, light transmission, brightness, resolution, aberrations such as spherical aberration and chromatic aberration, purple fringing, all of this is so well squared away that to all intents and purposes you can't separate them from the alphas, and that's at half the money. Now, how many times have I said this about Delta glass? God knows how they're making this work, but take it from me, this is the fifth player in the alpha category, and for £1,200 with a lovely pinger, a lovely screen, you know, it's the entire package. I thoroughly recommend it. Now, if you need it to talk to your applied ballistics kit, then these, what I call dumb rangefinders, they're not the ones for you. You want to be looking at the SIG, really. But if you're looking for your traditional binocular rangefinder, i.e. the best glass possible as you would expect from an alpha binocular, but with a 2,000 meter rangefinder in it, then the Delta gets you covered for £1,200 rather than £2,400, and I wholeheartedly recommend it. I've really given it a hard time. You can see it's covered in mud, and I've dropped them and got them unbelievably soaked, and all of the stuff that I do living in a puddle trying to shoot long range in the rain, and they have been absolutely fine. Let me get some focus here. So, nothing revolutionary, nice grip, pinger button, menu button on the other side, very smooth focus. One thing that is quite nice is they'll ping quite close for the air rifle guys. They'll do, I think it's 10 yards, whereas a lot of rangefinders don't start till 30 or even further, so that's useful. Solidly 2,000 yards. Both eyepieces adjustable as you would expect, one for the screen and one for the diopter, and then of course you've got your global focus on the top. I can't say enough about the glass. We're talking about, hello cat, we're talking about really sharp edge to edge, killer resolution, great at dusk. I struggle to separate them from the Swarovskis at dusk, and you know how much that is a positive. I mean, bloody hell. The SIGs have absolutely curled up their toes and died half an hour before these guys. I mean, the SIGs are good and sharp, and for the money, they're $1,450. I couldn't be more pleased with them, but they're not in the same ballpark as the Deltas at dusk. But, you know, the Deltas don't have the Bluetooth to talk to the applied ballistics, and that's that. But, wow, optically, as a alpha replacement, I can't recommend these Deltas high enough. Now, the Furies are good. That's a good rangefinder, and you won't go wrong with it. But the Deltas are a bit better. So, essentially, if you're looking for a traditional dumb rangefinder, in the binocular has to be the best it can possibly be for my money category, buy the Deltas. Don't think twice about it. They are quite remarkably good. Okay, now, on that note, other exciting things from Delta that are, again, half the price of you know, likely competitors. I am unbelievably impressed by this Javelin. So this is their 4.5 to 30. Not the striker, it's the one below. Now, I think this marks the entrance of Chinese glass into the market. There have been a couple of other really good scopes over the years that have used Chinese glass. But if you compare this to something like the Athlon ETR, what you have there is a scope that prioritizes features. It's the first 34mm scope with 100 minutes that you can get in first focal plane for, you know, for that money. and it's got a Chinese glass. The glass is somewhat inferior, acceptable enough, and you've got all those features. Lovely. You have to spend several £100 more to get Japanese glass, and that's the rub. So how come this has come along and it is £1,000, whereas the ETR is a couple £100 more, I believe? It's got 34mm, it's got proper turrets. Now we've got an exposure problem here, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, we've got really good clicky turrets, locking, count both ways properly. We've got zero stop, we've got really good illumination, a very smart reticle, 100 minutes. It's got all the features for £1,000. And you think, all right, well, the glass is only going to be 8 out of 10. Well, forget that. I took this out the other day to 1,275 yards, dialed from 400 to 1,200 in a 22 mile an hour wind, dialing at 1.11 mil, and on the lat mag here, and it behaved like an alpha scope. It was also a grey, horrible winter day, and the way that it resolved the rocks and the target and the bullet holes at 1275, I at no point felt that I wasn't bringing an A-game scope. And unfortunately I didn't take any other rifles because I was running in this 338 and that was going to take the whole day. But what will happen over the next 6 months is I will compare this to other premium scopes and tell you what the extra money buys you when you spend more than this. But as first impressions go and first day of usage goes, I haven't been this impressed by a new scope probably ever. It's that impressive. I can tell you right now it's got more field of view than the Striker, which is impressive because the Striker's field of view is not bad. It's hellish bright edge to edge. The turrets have worked perfectly. I'll do full tracking tests on the optical board, but it's just very, very, very good glass, and all the features are there, and it's £1,000. It's better than the PST2, and that's still a 30mm scope. But that's been my previous sort of late, my £1,000 advice for people. It's got more mag range than that, in that the PST2 is 5 to 25 and this is 4.5 to 30 with killer field of view. I can't get over how good it is. So leave me to test it. I will compare it to all the other good scopes in the world, but by God, it's absolutely taken my breath away as first impressions go. So yeah, and it wasn't on a bright sunny day either. It was on a horrible grey day shooting long range in the drizzle, and it just absolutely shone. So yeah, Delta are doing, as they have been for some years, bloody remarkable things, guys, and they're the place to go if you want alpha quality at half the price. Let's hope the prices stay down, because this Javelin has no business being as good as it is at the money we're talking. Geez, I can name a dozen £2,500 scopes that this laps straight away, no two ways about it. And there's no mistakes made. It's not like it's only got 60 minutes in it, or the turrets are crappy, or, you know, the reticle's outdated. It's bob on. So very exciting stuff for people shooting on a budget. Both the Javelin here and the 9x45 rangefinder. I mean, in the real world, guys, look at it this way. See this Swaro here? Lovely bit of kit. I'm not arguing with that. But everyone's on a budget to some degree, and you can buy this and this for the price of an alpha range-finding binocular, and that is what I'm talking about. So thanks to Optics Warehouse for sending me the kit out. Thanks for Delta for the prototypes. Very exciting news from Delta. This is the first video this winter. I was full of vim and vinegar about getting a load of videos out on all sorts of exciting topics, as I said in my previous videos, and then I got fundamentally derailed by COVID, and all bets have been off. But I've finished my training days at SharpshootingUK for the winter, taking bookings now for April, May, June, etc. But I'm spending the winter testing and videoing. So hopefully there should be lots more videos coming a lot more regularly. But I had to get this Delta 9x45 video out because it's such an impressive piece of kit in the market, and it is the one you want if you're looking for the best glass you can get, and you're not compromising anywhere. And you know, you really can't argue with that for this sort of money. So they're on sale at Optics Warehouse, and whilst I have more testing to do, the Delta Javelin 4.5 to 30 at just over £1,000 is absolutely, genuinely game-changing. There's nothing like it in the world. So, you know, maybe I'll find some horrible error with it, but I haven't yet. I will do a full review in a month or two when I've really put it through its paces and all lights and all of that. But for now, I just wanted to introduce it as something that should be on your radar all the way. I took it out the other day, and not once all day did I think, oh, I wish I had a better scope. I just forgot all about it, and that's quality, that, when you're used to such good scopes as I am. So yeah, very, very impressive. Well done, Delta. Right, I'll leave it at that. There will be more videos forthcoming. Wish me luck and stay safe. Speak to you soon.